on the NewsChannel 5 network. This is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. Glad you were with us tonight. We are going to dive deep into a lawsuit that really is impacting Davidson County. It could have a big impact on bail bonds here in Davidson County. The Nashville Community Bail Fund lawsuit. That's what we're talking about. And we can explain it to you, and we also have somebody representing one side. We asked the other side to come on. They were unable to come on tonight. But happy to have with us Mario Hambrick. He's with Free at Last Bonding. Mario, thank you for being here. And Jonathan Farmer. He's an attorney with Bone, McAllister, Norton. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here. And you're not on a side, right?
That's right.
You're neutral in this.
Well, right. I'm neutral. I don't have a dog in the fight, as they say.
And so we appreciate you coming on to help us understand it. Kind of tell us what the two sides are and what, kind of what's at stake in this lawsuit. Give us just the most basic information.
Sure. And so I think to understand this lawsuit, you got to have kind of a basic understanding of the bail system. Okay. And just very 30,000 feet view. When you're arrested and you're taken to jail, a judge or a magistrate decides what conditions are going to be set to let you out. And everybody can't get rearrested. Everybody has to come to court. Some people have to wear an ankle monitor, those sorts of things. And then they also will set a dollar amount for you to get out. And they're supposed to look at, your criminal history, what you're charged with, those sorts of things, okay? So I think most people who make bail in Davidson County, they make bail through a bonding company, through somebody like Mario. And I'll let Mario kind of explain what he does. But what's at issue with this lawsuit is the concept of a cash bail. And that means you or someone on your behalf puts up the entire dollar amount. So let me give you an example. If you're charged with, say, theft, and your bail is $2,000, okay, you can either hire Mario to put the money up for you, or you can put up the $2,000 yourself, okay, if you have it. The benefit, at least historically, to putting the $2,000 up yourself is that at the end of it, you get the money back, okay? You don't have to pay any fee, you don't have to do anything like that.
If you show up, you get all the money back.
And you don't get rearrested and that sort of thing. That's right, that's right. So I think around 2016, the Nashville Community Bail Fund was founded, and their mission and their idea was, look, being able to pay cash bonds shouldn't just be for people who can afford it. You should be able to pay cash bonds and then take care of those advantages if you're indigent as well. So they recruited investors and got other sources of funding, and they essentially have a pool of money. And the premise is that when they post a bond for someone and then they get out of jail, the Nashville Bail Fund gets that money back. And so now the complicator is that for, I guess, every other citizen, is that when you go to get your money back on the cash bond, the clerk's office takes the fees out. They take the court costs out. So for example, if you go on probation and you got to pay court costs and fines, they take that money out. Kind of the clerk's office position is, look, that's our money. Right, you owe it to us. We're holding your $2,000, but you owe $400, so we're just going to take that and we'll give it back to you. So for a long time, the Community Bail Fund was exempted from that. The judges in Davidson County said, you don't have to pay the fines and the fees out of that money. We'll just give you the whole $2,000 back. Okay. And then recently, about 6 months ago, I think the criminal court judges said, you know what, we're not going to do that anymore. You've got to pay the fines and the fees as well. So if you look at that from the Community Bail Fund's point of view, it pretty well destroys their business model. So instead of getting the $2,000 back and putting it in their fund, they're getting $1,600 or $1,400 or $1,200.
And at some point, they'll run out of money.
Right. And so they have filed a federal lawsuit here in Nashville. It was filed maybe a week ago. Essentially what they're asking the federal courts to do is say that the Davidson County Clerk's office is doing it wrong. They're doing it unfair. They shouldn't be taking these fees out.
And who is part of this group that's suing? Would you say they're suing Nashville? They're suing Davidson County?
They're suing the Davidson County Clerk's office. So I think the title of the suit is specifically Howard Gentry, but it's not Howard Gentry personally. It's in his capacity as the court clerk.
Okay, and I know there's some national organizations that are part of this group. It's a group that's suing Davidson County Clerk's office, and they have sued other communities trying to stop bail bonds, saying that it keeps people in prison just because they're or jail just because they can't afford to get out. Exactly. So that's kind of where they're coming from. Mario, where are you coming from?
Basically, our position is, the bonding industry has been in existence since the 1800s. Our position is, as a bonding company, we're responsible for every bond that we make. We pay $12 for every bond taxes. We pay, I think every dollar is 36 cents out of a dollar we pay taxes on. So everything that we do, we're taxed on, and we're responsible for everyone that we get out of jail. Whereas, the Bail Bond Community Bail Fund, they were just over there getting people out and basically not having any responsibility, making sure that people go to court. A lot of people wasn't showing up, things of that nature. And they want to operate as a bonding company, but they're not.
So your position is that community bail fund should pay?
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, we have to pay taxes. We have to pay on every dollar we take in. Each bond that we write, $12 each bond to the state of Tennessee, in which the public defenders get some of that money, part of the $12 fee that we pay. So we're being taxed, and we're being, basically have to play by the rules. And if a person doesn't show up to court and we can't find them, they make us pay. Mm-hmm. And I know 6 or 8 months ago, a lot of community bail stuff was taken under advisement and basically just sat on the shelf and not being made pay any fees or fines. And of course, the bail bonding industry, 40 bonding company has to abide by the rules. Yet community bail has just been kind of just let off easy.
There are lawsuits that have been filed against cities where they say, again, bail is wrong, that it locks up poor people simply because they can't pay. So now you have this fund that's come, and it can help counter that. So if that fund is damaged, does it allow for maybe even a bigger lawsuit? In other words, I mean, do you want, if they're saying this is going to make this bail fund fail, is it in your best interest for it to fail?
No, we don't have a problem with it for the most part, as long as they're abiding by the rules and regulations. I mean, if I've got to abide by the rules and regulations, then they should also. I mean, I wish I could just go over and write 1 million bonds and not be responsible for anything, and just at the end of the day go and get my money and not be responsible. But we have to be responsible, so they should be responsible as well.
Are you worried that it could cause the bail fund to fail?
I mean, I think that they'll eventually, work it out. But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, our position is, if you're going to act as a bonding company, then you need to go by the rules.
You need to go by the rules. All right. What else do we need to know about this? Is this something that we're seeing in other communities? Are you aware of that? Or kind of what else can you tell us to kind of help us understand it better?
Sure. I don't know if it's going on in other communities or not. I don't have any way to really know that. I will say that the bail fund, they've asked for an injunction, basically asking for the court to preliminarily say, before the matter is finalized, that look, Nashville clerk's office, you're not doing this right, and you need to stop, not just after the trial, but before the trial. And you need to allow the community bail fund to exempt out. And I think a step further, my understanding of the community bail fund's lawsuit that was filed is they no longer want the exemption for themselves. They want anyone who makes a cash bond to not have to have their fees withdrawn from the bond.
Right.
So you understand, it's not just, so the community bail fund wasn't doing that earlier because they were exempted out of it by the clerks, by the courts, I mean. But now that's not the case anymore. Their legal position is no one should have to have their costs and their fees deducted. If I put $2,000 up and I owe $400, you give me my $2,000.
And then we'll deal with the $400 later.
However we deal with it, right.
And how do you feel about that? Would that help you at all or not?
I mean, our position is, we, as a bonding company, when we put the 10% up, we pay all the taxes, we get the person out, we're responsible, but we don't pay any fees that pertains to the person. But as a cash bond, that's the way it's been in most counties. If a person owes jail fees or probation fees or have fees in that particular county, that person pays the fees prior to getting their money back if they pay a cash bond.
Bottom line, what's at stake for you? What do you think's at stake here?
Well, basically, our position is, if a person makes bond and they go down and put the cash up, then fine. But, some kind of way the city and the state has to have a way of collecting the fees. The probation fees, the jail fees, there's a lot of fees that come in, that come to play, in which a lot of people are put on probation. So a lot of these people, as we were discussing earlier, a lot of these people when they're in jail, it could be for DUIs or serving time, child support, probation violations, and they may not even have a bond. So a lot of times a lot of people are just not sitting in jail because they can't post bond. There's other reasons, child support, and various different reasons.
You look at, all right, so there are articles on this, and Reverend Davey Tucker, he's vice chairman of the Bail Fund's board of directors. So he would be on the opposite side of you on this. He's saying right now, as every day, there are at least 1,000 people who are held in our local jail, not because they're a flight risk, not because folk are afraid they will reoffend, not because they're wanted somewhere else. They are held there purely because they don't have the money to post bail. And this is part of our society's, I guess, kind of re-examination of bail. Is that kind of where we are right now? We are, yes. And what do you say? All right, so he's saying there are 1,000 people held in our local jail, not because of flight risk or anything else, but it's because they don't have the money.
I think that's probably improper because most of the people can make bond. A lot of them, as I said, they may be on a probation violation. You have you wouldn't believe how many people are in there for child support. A probation violation, say for instance they violated Dirty Ewing or got rearrested, serving a year or serving 6 months. So I would submit that that's not accurate.
And do we as a society need to re-examine what we do as far as bail?
Well, I mean, in Davidson County, you have the pretrial is just killing it. I mean, the bail bonding industry probably is down 75 to 80% because pretrial is getting everybody out. Anything from car burglaries, home burglaries, you name it.
Now, pretrial, that's pretrial diversion?
That's pretrial run by the city, Davidson County Sheriff's Department, as you well know. But
can you explain what that is again? But pretrial, say it.
Pretrial, they have a pretrial with the Sheriff's Department, so they have probably 6 or 7 people that work each hour, work 8 hours a day, and basically anyone that's arrested in Davidson County would go through pretrial, and they can decide whether the person makes bond through a bonding company or they will get them out on pretrial. So they have that opportunity. So if they're so good or they don't have much history or whatnot, you don't even have to be from here. You can be from Orlando, and you can get pretrial.
So we're making people write less bail bonds now.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean they've already opened the floodgates. I mean that's the reason the crime is the way it is, because you take a person if they were on drugs or something, used to be they would sit in jail and try to dry up or something or get kind of self-rehab in jail or something. But now it's none of that. Everybody's just being freed. Mm-hmm. And there's no restriction there. It's
a significant change to the way we've done business here in Davidson County already.
Exactly.
And what would you say, Jonathan? I mean, is this part of a discussion about how we in Davidson County and really how society is going to go about this process? Is it in flux right now?
I think absolutely it's in flux. Yeah, and I think it's part of society's just kind of looking at how we deal with criminal justice in general. And part of that is sentencing. You hear about harsh sentences and for nonviolent drug offenders. There's a lot of people are talking about that. And then also for people that we're talking about that haven't been convicted of anything, they haven't even been tried. So yes, I think the community bail fund's role in the Davidson County bonding system is very much on point with just kind of where we are as a society and looking at this right now.
So this is a huge debate and a big issue that affects a lot of people, and it's really criminal justice reform. It's changing right here before our eyes, and the question is, what is it going to look like? And you have a serious point of view. Obviously, there's a serious point of view on the other side of this lawsuit. And so it's a fascinating discussion. All right, we're going to take a break, but we're going to open the phone lines. Taylor, hold on the line. Others, if you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.